All right, let's dive in. We're taking a closer look at an interview with Rhonda Byrne, the creator of The Secret. It's from the Heal with Kelly YouTube channel. We're going deeper than just the law of attraction stuff, really exploring Rhonda's story and why these ideas resonate so much.
It's interesting how her personal struggles sparked the secret. It came from a very real place of pain, like searching for answers.
Oh, for sure. 2004 was tough for her, losing her dad, the financial stress, her company falling apart. She even describes this moment on her balcony as like complete surrender, not just giving up, but something more.
Like she hit a wall, but instead of pushing, she let go. And maybe that opened her up.
Yeah,
Right after that, she gets a copy of The Science of Getting Rich, a book from 1910 given by her daughter. Talk about timing, right?
it's wild, almost like a cheat code from the universe. And she dives deep, tracing these secret principles back through the book's author, Wallace Wattles, his mentors, and so on,
And she makes this point. These aren't New Age ideas. They've been around forever in different philosophies. She's like rediscovering and repackaging them.
making them accessible.
Yeah.
So, okay, the core idea is the law of attraction, right? Like, attracts like it. But how much is it just wishing for things versus actually doing something?
Wishing's passive. Rhonda's about active creation. Think of it like you want to learn piano, just wishing won't do it. But wishing plus practice, lessons, real love for music, that's the magic.
Okay, intention plus action. She talks about starting each day with, like, tearful gratitude, avoiding negativity till she's feeling good. That's discipline.
It is. It shows how important it is to be in control of your mental and emotional state.
Hmm.
Rhonda calls the mind a slippery sucker, always pulling us back to the negative.
Right.
So, how much of manifesting is about just retraining your focus?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in bad news, complaints, that stuff.
Hmm.
But if, like, attracts like, then aren't we just accidentally manifesting more of it?
Exactly. And that's where befriending negativity comes in, not ignoring it, but letting those feelings pass through, then shifting to something positive.
It's almost like we're taught to fight bad feelings, but maybe that just makes them stronger.
Resistance, yeah, it intensifies things. Rhonda's way is more acceptance and redirection. But one big question people have is about timing. If I'm doing all this, why hasn't it happened yet?
Yeah, we want those desires, and now W. What does Rhonda say about those delays?
She thinks a big reason is deep down, we don't believe we deserve it. We might say we want something, but if there's a subconscious, unworthy belief, it blocks things.
Self-sabotage on autopilot. So how do we override those beliefs? Just visualize more.
Visualization's key, but it's more than daydreaming. It's consistently, vividly imagining yourself already having it, feeling it as real. This rewires your subconscious.
Like making a groove in a record, the more you play it, the deeper it gets.
Hmm.
And, Rhonda talks about creating a vacuum, which I find so interesting.
Hmm.
It's not just visualizing, but taking physical steps to make space for what you want.
Right. Like that woman who bought a bridal even though she couldn't afford a horse yet. Or the one who bought a wedding dress before meeting her partner. They acted as if it was already happening.
It's bold. Maybe it's less about tricking the universe and more convincing yourself it's possible. That conviction might lead you to different choices, bolder actions.
Hmm, that's interesting. It's not just outward action, but an inner shift. So, for our listener, what vacuum could you create? What symbolic action could show yourself and the universe that you're ready?
Yeah, it's about that leap of faith, that shift in energy. But what about manifesting for others? Can we like secret someone into a better job or out of a bad relationship?
Oh, that's the big question, right? We want the best for loved ones, but can we force it on them with good vibes? What's Rhonda's take?
She's clear that each person creates their own reality. We can't impose our will on someone else, but our energy can be supportive. Think of it like cheering for a friend running a marathon. You're not making their legs move, but you might give them a boost. Okay, so holding a positive space for them, trusting they'll make their own choices.
Exactly. She uses the example of a sick child or someone struggling with addiction. We can send love, but ultimately their own desire for change matters.
It goes back to free will, like you can lead a horse to water.
Right, but our energy still matters. Now, Rhonda also gets into the duality of experience, good, any, bad. So how does that fit with manifesting? If we're creating our reality, why is there suffering?
Yeah, the age-old question, if the secret works, why do bad things happen to good people?
Right. Rhonda's view is that suffering, though painful, can make us grow. She even says no one's truly hurt in the grand scheme of things, which is a lot to unpack.
Definitely makes you think. Maybe it's not about denying pain, but how we see it. Is it pointless tragedy or a tough lesson that changes us for the better?
That's a good distinction. It's about finding meaning, even in the hard times. This connects to creating heaven on earth by controlling our minds. If thoughts create reality, then positive thoughts lead to a more joyful experience.
Right, but it's not about pretending everything's perfect.
Right.
Rhonda even uses, like, a car horn honking as a cue to check her frequency.
Yeah. If something negative triggers you, adjust your thoughts.
Like a mindfulness practice, being aware.
Exactly. But that brings up a big one, feelings of uneasiness. A lot of people struggle with believing they deserve good things.
Oh, that inner critic is brutal. What does Rhonda suggest?
Affirmations, big time. Not just empty phrases, but actively replacing negative self-talk with statements of worthiness. It's like mental weightlifting, strengthening those positive thought muscles.
Instead of "I'm not good enough," it's "I am deserving of love and happiness."
Exactly. And the more you repeat them, the more they sink in and shape things.
Speaking of shaping things, Rhonda shares a story about overcoming her fear of public speaking through visualization. She imagined herself giving a presentation, all confident, and the fear went away.
Wow, like she reprogrammed her mind. And it shows the power of repetition, building those neural pathways.
It's not just for big goals either. Rhonda says she'd visualize finding a parking spot, and it would often happen.
It's about expecting good things.
Mm.
And this ties into intuition. We all have that inner guidance, but we ignore it so often.
That gut feeling, the whisper,
Yeah.
but we overthink and miss it.
Rana has a story. She felt drawn to take a different route home. And on that route, she found a rare book she'd been looking for.
Wow.
Sometimes those nudges lead us exactly where we need to be.
It makes you wonder what we miss by not paying attention.
Sure. And this brings up inspired action, not just visualizing, but taking those aligned actions, even if they don't logically make sense yet.
That trust fall with the universe, taking a step without seeing the whole staircase.
Exactly. And speaking of trust, Rana talks a lot about gratitude. It's not just politeness, it shifts your whole perspective.
Like what you appreciate appreciates. Focusing on what you have
Yeah.
attracts more abundance.
Right. She started a gratitude journal, 5 things every day, no matter what. It helped her shift from lack to abundance.
I'm thinking, when I'm stressed, maybe I should try that. Just writing down what I'm grateful for.
Yeah, it's like hitting reset on your emotions, and it creates a loop. The more grateful you are, the more good you notice.
But what about those big questions like, if thoughts create reality, why do bad things happen to good people?
It's complex. We're not always in control of everything outside of us, but Rhonda emphasizes choosing our response. Do we see it as tragedy or as a chance to grow from it?
That's a good point.
It's finding those lessons, those silver linings, and sometimes those challenges lead to unexpected blessings. It might not feel good at the time, but looking back, those detours were necessary.
Like when you miss a flight and you're upset.
Okay.
But then you find out the plane had problems.
Exactly. What seemed bad was actually good in disguise. And this ties into forgiveness, not for the other person, but for ourselves.
Forgiveness is hard, especially when you've been hurt. What's Rhonda's take?
She sees it as releasing negative energy, resentment, anger, blame. It weighs us down. Forgiveness sets us free.
It's not saying what they did was okay, but letting go of the pain.
Yeah. She tells a story about struggling to forgive someone. And she realized holding on to anger was only hurting her. When she forgave, she felt free.
Like breaking those chains. And this leads to self-love. What does Rhonda mean by that?
For her, it's radical acceptance, embracing yourself, flaws and all, recognizing your worth.
Not arrogance, but knowing you are enough.
Right. And this links back to manifesting. If we don't feel worthy, we block the good stuff. Self-love opens the door.
So it's not selfish to do self-care, set boundaries, say no when you need to.
Exactly. It's honoring yourself.
And that looks different for everyone. A walk in nature, a hot bath, time with people you love.
Right. Whatever nourishes you.
It's about those things that bring you joy.
Yeah. Because when you feel good, you radiate good energy. And speaking of good energy, Rhonda says the law of attraction applies to relationships too.
So we attract partners who reflect ourselves. That's a little scary.
It is. But think, if you want a loving, supportive partner, you need to be loving and supportive. It's not about finding someone to complete you, but being whole yourself to attract another whole person.
Doing the inner work, becoming your best self.
Exactly. And that might mean being single for a while, reflecting, figuring out what you truly want.
Being intentional about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once you're in a relationship, Rhonda emphasizes communication, feeling safe to express your needs, listening with empathy.
Creating a safe space to be yourselves.
Exactly. And this applies to all relationships, not just romantic ones. Rhonda believes we can use the law of attraction to strengthen bonds with family and friends,
Okay.
focusing on their good qualities, showing appreciation.
Making those relationships a priority.
Right. And what about money? Does the secret work for finances?
A lot of people want to know that. Can you just visualize a pile of cash and it appears?
Rhonda's approach is deeper than that. It's not about greed, it's about seeing money as energy for good.
Shifting from scarcity to abundance. Believing you're worthy of financial well-being.
Exactly. And focusing on what you'd create with money, not just dwelling on debt. What would you do with financial freedom? How would you use it to make a positive impact?
That's a good question for our listeners. It's not just the money, but the possibilities.
Right. Speaking of possibilities, Rhonda also talks about health.
Health is wealth, right?
And she believes we can manifest good health with the law of attraction. It's not just diet and exercise, but our thoughts and emotions too.
That mind-body connection. If you're always stressed, negative, it affects your body.
Exactly. Rhonda suggests being grateful for your body, visualizing yourself as healthy, speaking kindly to yourself.
It's not just what we put in our bodies, but how we think about them.
That's a powerful shift. It's about taking care of yourself on all levels. Physical, emotional, mental, spiritual.
Yeah, recognizing you're worthy of care.
And when you prioritize yourself, you can show up better for others. Speaking of connecting with something bigger, Rhonda also talks about spirituality.
That feeling of connection, purpose, it's hard to describe.
She believes we're all spiritual beings having a human experience. She says, connect with your inner wisdom, cultivate a relationship with the divine, however you define that.
Finding that sense of belonging,
Yeah.
being supported by something greater.
Yeah. And this ties into living a life of purpose. She believes we're all here for a reason, with unique gifts to share.
Finding what lights you up and sharing it.
Exactly. And she gives some tips for applying the law of attraction.
Okay, let's get practical. What can people start doing?
One thing is a gratitude journal. Write down 5 things every day, no matter how small. It shifts your focus.
Like training your mind to see the good.
And another is a vision board, a visual representation of your goals. Looking at it regularly keeps those desires top of mind.
Like a roadmap for your dreams.
Yeah. Rhonda also suggests affirmations, positive statements you repeat to yourself. It reprograms your subconscious.
Replacing negative self-talk with empowering messages.
Right. And visualization is key, creating a clear mental picture of what you want. Like making a movie in your mind where your dreams come true.
I like that.
And remember, inspired action. It's not just thinking and visualizing, but taking steps towards your goals.
Aligning your actions with your desires.
Exactly. And sometimes that might mean taking a class, starting a hobby, reaching out to someone who can help you.
Okay.
It's about taking those steps, even if they're scary.
Trusting the universe will support you.
Right. And one of the most important things Rhonda emphasizes is letting go of the outcome.
Letting go. Isn't that the opposite of manifesting?
It might seem that way, but Rhonda explains that clinging too tightly creates resistance. It blocks the flow.
Like trying to force something that doesn't fit. We need to surrender and trust.
Exactly. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means trusting that the universe will deliver in the perfect way and time.
Surrendering to the mystery of life.
Exactly. Now, Rhonda also emphasizes staying positive in this interview.
Positivity. It's like a superpower.
She believes our thoughts and emotions create our reality. When we focus on positive ones, we attract positive experiences.
What you focus on expands.
Right. Staying positive doesn't mean ignoring challenges. It means choosing to focus on the good, even when things are tough.
Finding those silver linings.
Exactly. And she suggests surrounding yourself with positive people, doing things you enjoy, practicing gratitude.
Creating a positive environment.
Yeah. Now, Rhonda also talks about following your bliss.
That sounds nice.
She believes we're all here to live a life of joy and fulfillment. She says, find what lights you up, what makes you feel alive, and pursue it.
Finding your purpose, expressing it.
Exactly. And it doesn't mean quitting your job and traveling the world. It might just be bringing more of what you love into your daily life.
Taking a class, starting a garden, spending time with loved ones.
Right. Making choices that align with your heart.
Creating a life that feels real and meaningful.
Exactly. Now, Rhonda also emphasizes trusting the process.
That can be hard when you're feeling impatient.
She reminds us that the universe has a plan, even when things seem off track.
Okay.
It's surrendering to the unknown, trusting it's all unfolding as it should.
Having faith that you're where you need to be.
Right. Trusting the process doesn't mean being passive. It means taking inspired action, following your intuition, and trusting the universe is supporting your dreams.
It's about that faith.
Exactly. Now, Rhonda also talks about being present.
Being present, that's a classic.
She believes that when we're fully present, we tap into peace and power.
Letting go of worries and anxieties, embracing the now.
Exactly. It's not always easy, our minds wander. But with practice, we can be more present.
Training our minds to focus on the here and now.
Right. Now, Rana also emphasizes service.
Giving back, making a difference.
She believes we're all connected, helping others helps ourselves.
The ripple effect.
Yeah. And service doesn't have to be huge. It could be volunteering, donating, even just a kind word.
Finding ways to share your gifts.
Exactly. And she talks about celebrating your successes.
That's fun.
She believes that when we acknowledge our accomplishments, we reinforce our belief in ourselves.
Giving yourself credit.
Right. And celebrating doesn't have to be big. It could be a nice meal, a relaxing bath, just taking a moment to acknowledge yourself.
Honoring your efforts.
Exactly. Now, Rhonda also emphasizes learning from your mistakes.
That's important for growth.
She reminds us that everyone makes mistakes. It's about how we respond.
Seeing them as opportunities, not failures.
Exactly. It doesn't mean dwelling on them. It means acknowledging them, figuring out what you can learn, and choosing to do things differently next time.
Using those experiences to grow.
Right. And Rhonda talks about taking care of ourselves.
That's essential.
She believes when we prioritize our needs, we can better show up for others.
Filling your own cup.
Exactly. It might mean getting enough sleep, eating well, exercising, spending time in nature, and doing things you enjoy.
Treating yourself with kindness.
Right. And she emphasizes following your intuition.
Trusting that inner voice.
She believes we all have that inner guidance. She says, listen to your gut feelings, trust your instincts.
Recognizing those nudges.
Yeah. Following your intuition might lead you down unexpected paths. But she believes it always leads you where you need to be.
Trusting the journey.
Right. And Rhonda talks about having a positive attitude.
It's contagious.
She believes our attitude is a choice.
Seeing the glass half full.
Exactly. It doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means choosing to focus on the good, believing things will work out.
Staying hopeful.
Right. She suggests surrounding yourself with positive people, practicing gratitude, focusing on solutions.
Creating that positive environment.
Yeah. And she emphasizes taking responsibility for your life.
Owning your choices.
She believes we create our own reality. Our thoughts, beliefs, and actions shape our experiences.
We have the power to choose.
Exactly. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself. It means acknowledging that you have a role to play in your life.
Empowering yourself.
Right. And she talks about being true to yourself.
Living authentically.
She believes we're all unique, here to express our gifts. She encourages us to follow our hearts, to live a life that feels true.
Embracing your individuality.
Exactly. Being true to yourself might mean making different choices than others expect. It might mean stepping outside your comfort zone. But she believes that when you live authentically, you experience true joy.
Living a life that feels meaningful.
Right. And she emphasizes having faith.
Believing in something bigger.
She believes faith is a powerful force. She encourages us to have faith in ourselves, in the universe, in our dreams.
Believing anything is possible.
Exactly. Faith doesn't mean you won't have doubts. It means choosing to focus on what you believe in, even when things are hard.
Staying hopeful.
Right. And she talks about perseverance.
Never giving up.
She reminds us that success isn't always easy. It takes time, effort, and overcoming obstacles.
Staying committed.
Exactly. Perseverance doesn't mean being perfect. It means keeping going, learning from your experiences, and using them to fuel your determination.
Believing in yourself.
Right. And she emphasizes being kind to yourself.
Treating yourself with compassion.
She believes we're often our own worst critics.
That inner critic.
Yeah. She encourages us to be gentler with ourselves, to acknowledge our strength, celebrate our accomplishments, and forgive ourselves.
Recognizing that we're all works in progress.
Exactly. And she talks about following your passions.
Doing what lights you up.
She believes we're all here to experience joy. She says, find what makes your heart sing and bring it into your life.
Finding your purpose.
Right. Following your passions might mean taking a risk, stepping outside your comfort zone, or making a change. But she believes when we follow our hearts, we create a life that feels real and meaningful.
Living a life that feels right.
Exactly. And she emphasizes living in the present moment.
Letting go of worries and anxieties.
She believes that when we're present, we experience life more fully.
Savoring each moment.
Right. Being present doesn't mean we don't plan or reflect. It means choosing to focus on the now.
Finding that balance.
Exactly. And she talks about having a sense of humor.
Laughter is the best medicine.
She believes laughter is powerful against stress and negativity.
Not taking ourselves too seriously.
Right. Having a sense of humor doesn't mean we don't take life seriously. It means seeing the lighter side, finding joy, and keeping perspective.
Remembering that life is a journey.
Exactly. And she emphasizes gratitude.
Appreciating the good things.
She believes gratitude is transformative. When we focus on what we're grateful for, we shift our energy.
Seeing the good.
Exactly. Gratitude doesn't have to be big. It can be a cup of coffee, a sunset, a kind word.
Finding those little joys.
Right. And she talks about forgiveness.
That can be tough.
She emphasizes that forgiveness isn't about condoning actions. It's about releasing yourself from negativity.
Letting go of the past.
Exactly. Forgiveness isn't always easy. It takes courage and compassion.
Choosing peace over pain.
Right. And she talks about self-love.
Accepting yourself fully.
She believes self-love is the foundation for a happy life.
Recognizing your worth.
Exactly. Self-love isn't about arrogance. It's about acknowledging your strengths and embracing your imperfections.
We're all works in progress.
Right. And she emphasizes following your dreams.
Pursuing your passions.
She believes we're all capable of great things. She encourages us to identify our dreams and make them happen.
Believing in yourself.
Exactly. Following your dreams might mean taking a risk, stepping outside your comfort zone, or making a change, but she believes it leads to a life that feels real and meaningful.
Living a life that feels right.
Exactly. And she talks about having a positive mindset.
Seeing the good.
It's about attracting positivity into our experience. And speaking of attracting things, let's go back to creating a vacuum. Those stories about the woman with the bridal and the woman buying the wedding dress before meeting her partner.
Yeah, they show the power of action and trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough to just wish. You have to create space.
Yeah, it's like you're sending a signal showing you're ready.
Exactly, like planting a seed and nurturing it.
And those seeds, they might grow in ways you didn't expect, but that's part of it, right?
Absolutely. It's about surrendering, trusting the universe has a plan.
Okay, but what about when things don't manifest? We've all tried visualizing, feeling it, taking action, and it still doesn't happen. That's a good question. Rhonda says those delays, those detours, can actually be blessings in disguise. Maybe redirecting you to something better or giving you time to grow.
Oh, I see.
Like when you miss a flight and you're annoyed. But then you find out the plane had problems.
Yeah, exactly.
What seemed bad was actually good.
So trusting the timing, having faith, it's all working out.
Right. And sometimes those delays might mean you need to look at your beliefs again. Are you really aligned with what you want? Taking the right actions, maybe holding on to beliefs that are blocking things.
A chance to check in, make sure you're on track.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive into Rhonda Byrne and The Secret, I want to mention something she said that really stuck with me. It's the idea that we can all experience heaven on earth.
That sounds amazing. But how do we actually do that?
Rhonda says it starts with your mind, being aware of your thoughts, choosing to focus on the positive, cultivating gratitude, self-love, aligning with joy and abundance.
Creating that inner peace no matter what's going on outside.
Exactly. And she says the world around you can be a guide. If you're facing negativity, maybe it's a sign to adjust your energy.
Like those little course corrections. So not ignoring the negative, but choosing to focus on the positive.
Exactly. As Rhonda says, and I love this quote, the world is so good to be able to keep you on track. It's really, really good.
Like the universe is always helping us if we're open to it.
And one tool Rhonda made to help people stay aligned is her manifestation deck. They're cards with reminders and affirmations.
Oh, interesting.
It's like a daily dose of positivity.
I might have to check that out.
Yeah. And as Rhonda says, it is impossible for your frequency to be the same after you've read a card as it was before.
Little shifts can make a big difference. Okay, so what's the takeaway? What can our listeners actually do?
Here's why I think it's important. First, remember how powerful your mind is. Your thoughts create your reality. Second, be grateful. It's not just a feeling, it's transformative. Third, love yourself. You deserve it.
And trust the process, even when you can't see the whole picture.
Beautifully said. So as we finish this deep dive, I'll leave you with something to think about. What are you truly passionate about? What makes you feel alive? And how can you bring more of that into your life, even in small ways?
It's about creating a life that feels right, that's true to you.
Exactly. Remember, you have the power to create a life filled with joy, love, and abundance. It all starts with you.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.